Alright, so here are the chickens after coming out of the pot. They got a little bit overcooked because I was upstairs watching Miss hCG Girl and Miss, hCG Charm cook a cheesecake. They had a vlog that I was observing and didn't pay attention to my own recipe. So here is the pot that they cooked in, and here are the vegetables in a strainer. I scooped the vegetables out and then poured the stock through. This is another pot. And then typically what you would do is discard the vegetables. If my grandmother was here, she would be very angry about that. So those of you that are very frugal, you may take the vegetables and puree them and have a vegetable soup of some sort. It wouldn't be vegetarian because they cooked in a chicken stock though. And then here's the stock. It's in a very small bar sink. And what I typically do is fill the sink up with water so that the stock cools down quicker. And that allows me to place the stock in the refrigerator overnight. Right now the stock is still extremely hot and can stay hot for hours. So a trick that I learned early on when I started making soup was to fill the sink up with ice and cold water and then to cool the stock down. And then you would put it in the fridge, and the next morning you would skim the top of the stock and remove all the fat. And then from that point we would begin to either make a soup, or you would pour it into containers and store it in the freezer. Okay. But Kayla is filming. Sorry for all the movement. So here is a big pile of chicken from our 2 5-pound chickens. And typically what it will yield once you pull it from the bone is about 8 cups of chicken, or about 17 100-gram packages. So Kayla is going to film the scale, and those are all the plastic, don't move so much, love. Those are all the plastic baggies that we are going to fill after we measure out our 100-gram servings. And then I also want you to see over here, this is the sink. Back up, back up. Oh dear. You crack me up, kid. Okay, so here's the stock cooling in the sink. The stock has been put in 2 tall containers, and the sink is full of ice water, and they're cooling down. And we'll stick them in the fridge once they're cool, and then tomorrow we will pull off the tops and skim the fat off the surface. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so here are the bags of chicken. We typically have about anywhere from 15 to 17 bags. Here's Kayla bagging. We will take a regular Ziploc bag and fill it with chicken so that it reaches the 100 grams for P2. And then let it be known that this is a mixture of both light and dark meat. I am in P3. If you're following protocol and you're going pop, then you would only do the light meat, the white meat, and you would not get the same amount of chicken. I am in P3, so I can eat both light and dark, and I will also fess up that even in P2, I ate the same way. I did mix my chicken, both light and dark meat. I did lose at a slower rate, but I like dark meat, and so I mixed my chicken, and that was just how it worked in our family. So here's how the chicken rolls, and I'm gonna have to delete the most of this because I'm blathering. And there's Blaze, and there's Kayla. And right now we'll say goodbye. Say bye, Kayla.
Bye.
Or say ciao, baby.
Ciao, baby. Ciao. Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao, baby.
Ciao, baby.
No, no, say
Ciao, baby.
wait, I want to go.
Okay, here we have our stock the next day. It's refrigerated and I've gotten in and removed the fat from the top. So this is the way it's supposed to look. This is the way it looks when you pull it directly out of the fridge after it has been sitting overnight. And what you want to do is pull the fat off the top and dispose of that so that there isn't any fat in the stock. And I use the word stock and broth. I interchange those words, so don't be confused if you hear me say one or the other. But this is the method that you would use to remove the fat until it looks like this. And it's getting warm in the house, so the fat that you see floating on the top was too difficult to skim off. I could actually get a very fine sieve and pull that off if I was concerned about it, but I'm in P3, so I'm not as concerned. Here's the chicken stock broken down into 2-cup servings. It's ready to go in the freezer and be frozen. So what I did was I emptied the stock from the container into a measuring cup until it was manageable. Poured it in directly into the container. That's a 2-cup container. Glad makes them, or Ziploc, they're disposable. And then once the container was empty enough for me to pour directly, I just poured directly in, and you just get a feel for where the 2-cup line is. On some of them the 2-cup line is marked, and on others it's not, but once you fill one up, then you just fill the rest up to the same amount. Here is the chicken frozen. These are the bags that we made yesterday, and they are now frozen, and I just put them into a container and stick them in the fridge just like that. They're all together so that each day you can just pull one out and defrost it. So here are the frozen stocks stored in the freezer, and what I would do is take one of these stocks out of the freezer, and so here it is frozen in the container, and then after you defrost it a bit, it comes directly out of the container, and then you would just wash your container and either defrost this for your meal the next day or your current meal. Or what I do is then break them down into 6 2-cup servings and place in a very large Ziploc bag. So these particular previously made stocks are just regular stocks. You can see the spices in the stock. And then I just seal it up and put that back in the freezer. This particular stock, as you can see, has chicken already in it. So when I made this, I actually dumped my 4-ounce serving into the cup, and then I added a 1.5 cups of broth over the top, sealed it, put it in the freezer, and this is what I ended up with. So when I'm in a real hurry, then all I have to do is just, my chicken and my broth are already together. One other option that I do is I make ice cubes of frozen stock. So that then you can just pop this into a frying pan if you're cooking fish or something that needs moisture and a little bit of flavor without having any oil. So that's another option.
Ciao, baby.